Hello, this is Blaine McCormick with the Hand Camera School of Business, and thanks for joining me for this brief tutorial and commentary about pro formas in the Foundation Business Simulation. I call this how to use and misuse pro formas because pro formas can be one of the most powerful tools for understanding and making decisions in Foundation. But they can also be misused easily and really cause teams to crash and burn. I have enough experience with participants in Foundation that I've learned that can happen just as well. So let me show where we're going today. In this tutorial, I'll start out by showing you how to misuse pro formas and how they can hurt you. And then I'll show you how to use them correctly, which is really comparing one scenario versus another scenario and making decisions about which one you want to do. And that's a much better use of pro formas. And so let me switch over to the simulation itself. And I am in making decisions for round one. So this is kind of your round zero team with decisions for round one. And I'm going to just point something out here. Let's do this. Let's start here with the pro forma balance scorecard. And it's a wonderful document that helps you manage your balance scorecard. But you can see that you start out down here with 39.7 out of 82 possible points. And the wrong way to go about this is to use the pro forma as a tool to get the highest balance scorecard that you can. In other words, to make decisions that will move your score for round one as high as possible, because these are usually very bad decisions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make terrible decisions and raise my score at the same time. I'll show you that you can get high scores with very bad decisions because primarily pro formas look at your decisions, but they don't consider what your competitors are doing. So I'm going to just kind of have some Fantasyland style decisions here, and they're very easy to do. So I'll make them very quickly here. I'm going to go to marketing, and I'm going to price my product at $45, the upper end of the price range for high tech, and I'm going to make a forecast of my maximum production available. I'm not even going to look. I'm just going to produce the most I can and get all the points on my scorecard at 1440. And that'll be great there. So I'll take that forecast there. And then what I'm going to do is I'll go to the production page. I'm not going to move my product at all, so no R&D. So I'm going to go to the production page, and I'm going to schedule 1440 production there, and I'll recalculate that and lock that in. In fact, I'm going to go back to marketing, and I'm going to improve my promotional budget and my sales budget. I'm going to spend some money there as well. I think that's going to help me on my points. And then I'm going to go to my finance page and try to pay for all this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the maximum amount of debt that I can, which is the maximum issue this year's $2,480,000. So I'm going to max out my debt. And I'm also going to max out my current debt, or at least take a lot of current debt. I'm going to take $4,000 in current debt. I regret to say that I'm going to give this all away as a dividend, which is a terrible thing to do, is to take out debt and give a dividend. So I'm going to give an $8 dividend, and I'm going to recalculate here. And so I've borrowed a lot of money, and I'm giving it away to my shareholders, which is a terrible thing to do. And then I'm going to go back here to the market. I'm going to move my price to the highest possible. And I forecast I'm going to sell everything I can make, which I think they sold, if we look at the high-tech round, they sold about 360 high-tech products as the leading company last round. So I say I'm going to sell 3 times that amount at the highest possible price. I mean, that's Fantasyland. So I've got bad marketing decisions. I've got an overpriced product that I'm going to make and sell more than I can ever hope to sell. And then I've made some terrible financial decisions on borrowing money and giving it away as a dividend. And I want to go back to my balance scorecard here, and lo and behold, look at that. I've got 62 out of 82 possible points on my balance scorecard, which is a stellar score for the first round. And I got there because I took out a lot of debt and raised my leverage score. I've got rosy good profits in stock price because of my over forecast and overpricing. My internal business processes are looking great. My customer buying criteria is low because I've priced my product too high, but I'm improving my awareness with a good promo budget. I'm improving my accessibility. I only have one product, so that's hurting me there. But in the whole, I've got 62 out of 82 possible points. And I will tell you that if I run these decisions and compete with this decision set, I'm going to score very, very low. I'll probably score somewhere in the high 20s or low 30s at the best, because I'm going to make way too many products, and I'm going to do terrible things with my financial decisions, and so I'm just going to crash the company here. So you'll see that if I use the pro forma balance scorecard just to jack up my points as high as I can, that's a terrible way to run the company because it leads to some very bad decision making. So decisions should drive your pro forma, not your pro forma driving your decisions. That's the difference there. So that's how you misuse pro formas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear these decisions, and I'm going to use pro formas correctly by looking at two different possible decision sets here. I'm going to the first thing I'm going to do is take product fast, and I'm going to move it. So I've given it a new performance and a new size here. So let's go there and recalculate. I'm going to keep the MTBF the same. I'm not going to make every decision I should make, but I'm going to move fast. I'm going to bump fast up a little bit there in the range, so I get to a little bit closer to the high-tech product area, the high-tech segment. Then I'm going to go to the marketing decisions, and I'm going to, this will really be where my decision making is. I'm going to price it at $43 and forecast 700. Now that's twice as many as I sold in high-tech in round 0, but I've moved my product. I've got a competitive price point for high tech, and hopefully things will go better for me this time around. And so I've made some adjustments there. I'm going to automate. I'm going to move my automation north pretty far, and I'm going to run my production decisions there. I'm going to schedule 750 for production with my existing inventory. That gives me, a pretty reasonable sales forecast there. And so I've spent a lot of money automating. I've made a big capital expenditure decision there. So I'm going to go to my financing page, and I'm going to I need a lot of money because I'm going to have a cash shortfall probably. Given that I spent about $6 million in capital improvements. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to do that all with stock. And so I'm going to maximize my stock issue here on my finance page, and that'll be kind of what I do. So that's my decision set. And what we can do here is look at the pro formas, and I'll start with, so I've made my decisions, and so I'm going to look at my pro forma balance scorecard. That's a 40-point decision set there. And I'm going to look at my income statement, and we'll see how that looks. And I've got a nice profit there that I'm making, so that looks good. It's a ambitious but reasonable sales forecast, but it's pretty ambitious in there. And then I'll look at my cash flow statement just to make sure everything looks good there. I'm going to have some net cash from operations. I'm paying out $6.4 million in capital improvements, but I'm taking some money in from selling some common stock. So my closing cash position looks to be up. And so that's again a 40-point round 1 decision set there. But I've got some problem areas there. One, my leverage is low because I did all this using equity instead of debt. I've got no days of working capital. So I've got some problem areas in here you can see. And so I'm going to say, well, compared to what? What other decision could I make here? And so I'm just going to change just a couple of things here for comparison's sake. Let's say I raise my price. I'll say, well, instead of lowering my price, I'm going to raise my price but lower my sales forecast there and try to be a little less ambitious, be a little more conservative on there. I'll lower my production. I'll make a bit less there, but I'll still do the automation. And then instead of financing everything through stock, I'll finance everything through long-term debt. And then I'll also take out a little current debt just in case I need it. I usually like to take out a little current debt each round, so I'll take out $3 million in current debt. And I'm going to be stretching it. I haven't financed very much. Haven't covered my capital expenditures there, but I've done what I can. I've recalculated, and let's go to my pro forma balance scorecard. You'll see, I've dropped. I'm 37.2, so that's not looking very good on the balance scorecard. So this may be a less impressive decision set. My leverage is up. I fixed the leverage problem because I took out some debt, but my profits are down. Something's going wrong on the income statement. I'll go to my pro forma income statement, and you can see from the price adjustment and the lower sales forecast that I've really dropped off on my net profit, and so that's not looking good. So of the two decision sets, scenario 1 or scenario 2, I'm much better off with scenario 1, even though it's a bit ambitious. Maybe I pull it back to 600. I only make 600 instead of 700 and fix it that way. And so that's how you use pro formas better, is by comparing one scenario with another scenario. So if I compare these two scenarios, I can say, well, scenario 1, it's not the 62 I had up here, but that was Fantasyland. Scenario 1 is a 40-point outcome. Scenario 2 is a 37-point outcome. I might be able to fix some things in scenario 1, and so it's looking like a much better decision set. And so if I am at a strategic crossroads and I want to compare one with another, that's the best use of pro formas, rather than letting the pro formas drive the decision making like up here, and that's where you get into a lot of trouble. So that's how you can misuse and use pro formas. My hope is that the tutoring helps you understand how to better use pro formas in comparing decision sets and improving your decisions once you see what's going on. Thanks for joining.